Hi everybody, Levi Clay here, and today I'm going to walk you through my favourite piece of software. It's a piece of software that I use every single day. It helps me to do my job transcribing music, and I thought it might be of interest to you. It's a piece of software called Transcribe. I mean, I've done a video on this program before, but I have a much better setup now, so I thought I would do it again for you. Better video, better audio quality, etc. So I'm going to walk you through the program now. If it is something that you think would be helpful for your transcribing skills, your development as a musician, there is a link to purchase this piece of software in the description below. Full disclosure, if you purchase it via that link, I do actually get like $10 or something like that, which is a great referral fee, and it's an excellent way to support this channel. So if you do see something you like, it is worth checking out. Right, I'm going to make myself a bit smaller. I'm going to talk you through the lovely piece of software that is Transcribe. So as you can see, what I have here is I have a music file opened. This is actually an Andy James piece, which I will probably be transcribing at some point soon. Anyway, so it looks exactly as you would expect a piece of music to look. It is a sound file, and I can click anywhere in this file and press play. And I get the music playing. Now, obviously that's not going to be enough to help you transcribe a piece of music. There are lots and lots more tools at our disposal. The first thing that I find very useful, I like to zoom in a little bit using this down here so I can really see what I'm working on. First thing I find very useful is the use of markers. So we can see the piece of music starts here. If I right click up at the top, I can add in a section marker. And now what I'm going to use is the M key on my keyboard, and this will allow me to mark in each measure. Let me just do that for you now. So the piece of music is going to play. I'm going to count along with it, and as I'm doing that, every bar I'm going to press the M key, and that's going to give me a measure, and then we'll see what we can do with that. Okay, so that's enough so far. So what you can see there is I have marked out each of these measures. I'm actually going to zoom out a little bit more. So now we've got these measures in place. You could work with just that. I can actually click and drag between these measures. And now if I hit play, get that right. Now if I click play, it's just going to loop that section. Which in its own right is a useful tool. If you really wanted to, you could use this section, this button here, which is fit selection. That's going to just highlight that entire section. Working on such a small section on a big screen like this gives you something that's quite unruly to look at like that. But if you do have the piece marked out on a smaller window, that's actually quite a useful tool sometimes. Anyway, so now I've got that section highlighted. What I can actually do further on this is I can use my speed tools in order to slow down or speed up the piece of music. Now I have some handy little buttons here up at the top that allow me to do that very quickly. So if I wanted to listen to this piece at halftime, 50% speed, I just press that button and then you get which is a useful tool, bring it down to 35% speed. Now, a further tool that I'll go through and use on something like this is I actually like to mark out where the beats are in the music. Now, I can do that by, again, playing the piece of music and pressing the B key on my keyboards to mark out where each individual beat is. But another way of doing that is if I right-click here, click Edit this marker, subdivide the beat by, yes, how many subdivisions? There's 4 beats in the bar. Now, when I do that, now I can see that I've got the individual beat markings up here at the top. This is again useful because if you want to practice along with the piece or really listen to what's happening and you just want to isolate the first 2 beats, got it. Now already I can process what's happening there. Bam, ba 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 ba, rhythmically. Da 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 da. That helps me to transcribe a piece of music. Very, very useful tool. There are a lot more features that we can find in Transcribe though, but one that I'm going to use, one that I'm going to demonstrate to you Ta-da! So actually, I've been working from a video here. There are other pieces of software on the market, like Riff Station, but as far as I'm aware, they don't allow you to open a video, which to me is a big shame. Being able to open a video is hugely useful because not all music is just audio, and I actually love working from video because it means I can really see what's happening. So now when I hit play on this, I can very clearly see exactly what Andy is doing without having a guitar to hand to really check. It looks like he's playing open 12th fret, 10th fret, and then up to the 13th fret. But of course, I would go through and check that in more detail. Anyway, of course, there are much more features that you can find in Transcribe, and they can all be found here under the Effects section. So when I click this Effects window, just bring that over here, this brings up lots of tools that we can use to edit the music in any way that we see fit. On this first page, the mono karaoke page, we basically have something that will put the music in or out of phase. Now, when I activate this, this is kind of useful when you're working on something with vocals because it tends to cut a lot of the vocals out of the mix. Let me just press play on the music. I'll turn that volume down on that. Could do that in the program, of course, down here. I'm going to press play on that, and then we're going to activate that mono karaoke, and you'll be able to hear what that does to the music. So check it out. So I'm going to press that right now. Let's highlight a section. So as you can see, there are other buttons here. If I want to, I can highlight the left channel. Let's take it out of karaoke mode. Or the right channel. Karaoke. Mono. And then bypassed. So lots of features there. Let me turn that back up. I'll control the volume in the program. So other features, a handy EQ section. Now on a piece of music like this might actually be very useful to us because there's a lot of bass present in the recording. If I want to really hear what's going on in the guitar, a great way of doing that, turn it down here. A great way of me doing that would be to deal with the EQ. So I can bring up the music here and pull out some of that low end. I'm going to turn the music up and I'm going to fiddle with this EQ so you can hear what happens. Now already I find that much clearer. I can hear the guitar a little bit clearer. There of course are quick ways of accessing all of this. I can remove the bass by pressing that button. So sometimes I will use those tools, though more often than not, I find that I can work fine just by bypassing the EQ. No real need for the EQ. Same, in the tuning section, we have lots of options available to us, and this is actually a tool that I use regularly. If I'm transcribing a piece of music and it's in drop C or tuned down a semitone or anything like that, even if there's a piece with a capo on, I'll actually come into here and use the tuning section and then push the transcription, push the audio file either up or down, so it's the audio is in tune with my guitar rather than me having to retune my guitar. And again, as a practice tool, I find this very useful if I want to work on some Symphony X or something like that. I don't always have a guitar tuned to D standard, so I can just come in here and push the recording up by a tone. Let's see what that can do for us. So a reasonably useful tool. Another feature of this, very useful if you're working on something like by Van Halen, where the band is ever so slightly flat or ever so slightly sharp. We can actually use the cents marker to tune up to 60 cents, plus and minus from standard pitch. So yeah, with Eddie Van Halen that doesn't tune to A440, he's a little bit flat. We can actually open this up and put it to about plus 12, and that will put Eddie in concert pitch, which is useful. Not so useful on the Andy James thing because Andy is very in tune. The beauty of the Evertune, right? And as I go further, again, we have a transpose feature, very similar in use to the tuning feature. We have a lot more information here on our speed page, and we can actually push our tempo all the way up to 200% if we really want to. And there's some more things to fiddle around within here. Again, probably beyond the remit of what's useful in this video. So how is this of use to us? How can we use any of this? Well, what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to... I don't want to turn it down. I'll zoom out a bit. I'm going to go into the solo. Let's turn it down a bit. Ooh. Somewhere over here. Okay, so that's a small section of his solo. Now, if I zoom in on that, now we can really get into the nitty-gritties of what this program is useful for. I can work on what Andy is soloing on. I'll highlight that. Now, I find this a very useful tool for my own personal practice. If I want to, I would like to clear that and just take out some of the low end, remove the low end. I'm just going to put some of it back in. Now, as a practice tool, just using something like that can be quite useful. Absolutely wonderful tool for your, like I say, for practice or for transcribing or for helping to show somebody what's intended. And yeah, in essence, that is Transcribe. The last little feature that I'm just going to point out, which is very useful, aside from, you know, we've got a piano keyboard at the bottom that we can use for referencing pitches, which some people will find useful. Not something I find that I use a whole lot, if I'm completely honest, because I tend to transcribe with a guitar. But what we can do is we can go up into File, and I can actually export either the sound or the video. Now, something like that can be a useful tool if you find that you want to rework a recording and just have a small section of it. You just want to isolate the solo, maybe at 50% speed or 70% speed, or you want to change the pitch on it or something like that. Very, very useful way of being able to edit a video or edit some audio and just isolate a section that you want for your practice or to share with someone else. So very, very cool piece of software. And yeah, I recommend you check it out. There are lots of options. It is an extremely useful piece of kit. It might not be the best looking piece of kit on the market, but speaking as a professional, speaking as someone that transcribes music full time for a living is what I do. I'm going to go and do some work in a second. This helps me do my job. So an excellent piece of software, and I highly recommend you check it out. If you have any questions about this or anything else, hit me up in the comments section below and I will help you out in any way that I possibly can. And just again, as a reminder, if you do go and purchase this software, I think it's $40. If you purchase it via the link below, it is a great way of supporting this channel. It does help me to keep bringing you videos. So if you do get a copy, do let me know. And yeah, many years of happy transcribing. I will see you for future videos. Laters.